the chosen one. You decide what to do next. Victory. This is your moment. It may not appear like it. It may not feel like it. The battleground around you may seem peaceful. Alternatively, it may seem chaotic. However, whether there is stillness or noise, tranquility or pressure, one reality remains. You get to make the following step. In this move, this one will shape the rhythm of your next season. This isn't simply another option. This is your decision because you've been through too much, suffered too long, and grown too profoundly to turn back now. You've changed, so has the game. You have prepared in quiet for the time when God will whisper and choose one. This is the present moment. Victory awaits. Destiny is leaning in, and all of heaven is waiting to witness the fire you bear. Finally, release. Stick with this message till the very end. Watch with all your heart and write your best wishes. 777 in the comments. This is not just a video. It's a moment of release. A chapter in which dreams are fulfilled and the cosmos is fueled by your faith. Every second you remain present brings the future closer. This message will give your following move a powerful boost. Get ready now. The chosen one. I like this video. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Let we begin. The reason the next move is yours is because the previous season was not. You had to give up. You had to watch. You needed to wait. You were being positioned, trained, and altered. It was not a weakness. It was wisdom. Higher-level officials were preparing you for exact alignment. You did not miss the mark. You became the mark, the object of grace, the center of favor. And now the tables have turned. Now you're not responding. You are taking the initiative. You're not being dragged. You are moving ahead. You're not being tested. You get to choose when God will give you the next move. It is an indication that He believes in what He has put within of you. You may mistrust your own power, but heaven does not. You may not recognize your voice, but fate has already responded to your vibration. The power you wield is not loud, but it is loud enough to move the appropriate doors. The key lies in your soul, and now the lock is there in front of you. The question is straightforward. Will you turn it? Your hesitancy in this season is no longer humble. It's a delayed strategy. The adversary wants you to wear armor, but you were never supposed to be secure. You were created to alter atmospheres and initiate miraculous chain reactions, to be the answer that someone has been hoping for. You're no longer waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You no longer need the appropriate timing. You are the moment you stop begging for the light. You are the light. Your next step is not only about you. It's about everyone who will be impacted because you finally said yes. Victory does not result from proving yourself. It all starts with how you position yourself. You do not have to outfight anything. You just need to outlast everything. You don't need permission to become strong. You already are. You just need to own it. Your crown isn't arriving. It has been there the whole time. But now you have the confidence to wear it proudly. The winds are changing. The tide has finally shifted in your favor. You are no longer being tested. You're being revealed. This is not a step. This is a statement. And it is being beamed across all realms. The region of misunderstanding will be hushed. The world of terror will be limited. The region of uncertainty will be spread. Because when the chosen one moves, everyone listens. Miracles respond when you say yes. Back. When you take that step, wealth awakens, healing aligns, and protection surrounds. This is not just your next step. This is your declaration. You're not hoping anymore. You're moving. You aren't asking anymore. You are making a decision. Here's the beauty of it. You don't need to have everything worked out before making the move. The direction is more essential than the goal. Right now, courage is more important than clarity. It is not about being flawless. It is about being present. It's about demonstrating the world and yourself that you're not going to shrink merely to be comfortable. That you will not submit to fear in order to go undetected. That you will no longer compromise your calling in order to preserve the peace. You were meant to move mountains, and the one in front of you is trembling. Not because you are terrified, but because you are finally embracing who you really are. This is where the internal conflict concludes. This is when your heavenly DNA takes control. You have the code inside you, the breakthrough blueprint, the favor recipe. And now that you're standing on the brink, don't wait for someone else to pull you over. Leap, not because it is secure, but because it is holy. The next step is up to you, chosen one. And as you move, triumph follows you. Your power is no longer veiled. It is charged. It is ready. You've seen enough false beginnings to know when the true beginning appears. And that's all. You will no longer be in spiritual survival mode. You will no longer sit in rooms that you have outgrown. You will no longer hide your grandeur to make others comfortable. No more delays. No more disguises. The moment has arrived. You know who you are. You know what has to be done. You feel a tug in your chest. You can sense a quiet roar developing within. That's the sound of arriving. That is the signal for release. Don't question whether you're ready. You were born for this. Every tear trained you. Every closed door concentrated you. Every betrayal cleansed you. And every delay reset you. And now you are a weapon in the hands of fate. Not destroy, but announce. To remind the world that when one is selected and rises, everyone around them must react. You're not begging for change anymore. You're becoming it. You are no longer looking for approval. You're giving yourself the command. And every move you take from this point on will be infused with breakthrough. You're not wandering alone. The atmosphere is altering in anticipation of your arrival. The space is reorganizing itself to accommodate your voice. Opportunities are shifting to meet your vibe, and the future is bending in your favor. You're no longer preparing for survival. You are establishing a legacy. You are not operating under pressure. You are acting with purpose. Every step now is strategic and heavenly. This is the season when what you say will match what you desire to create. Everything you accomplish will multiply. You aren't merely aligned. You are in charge. And remember that strength is silent. It does not ask for attention. It does not need applause. It just alters everything. And you choose one. Is there electricity now? You are the shift. You are the strategy. You represent the next step in divine history. You are an answer to a prayer. Someone hasn't even mustered the confidence to speak yet. So make a move. Not because you know what will happen next, but because you know it is time. Victory is not the end of this move. Victory lies in the move itself. The fact that you continue to breathe, choose, show up, and believe. That is triumph. That is the energy that generates legacy. That is the spark that makes the cosmos listen. You decide what to do next. The result has already been guaranteed. All that remains is yours. Yes, the route ahead of you may not seem to be totally clear. That's because you aren't supposed to see every stage. Walking is intended to stimulate each step. You aren't navigating a map. You are becoming one. You are the pioneer, the fire starter, the pattern breaker. You've been tasked with forging your own path rather than following the norm. And when you make the next step, something old in the spirit world starts to stir. Because every time a selected one acts on divine instruction, the equation for everything changes. This decision will have far-reaching consequences for your life. It will modify everything related to your name. Your compliance will create a ripple effect that will open doors in areas you've never visited before. It will bring benefits to generations after you. Because when heaven allows a change, it is never simply for the present. It's all about eternity. And the current step you're taking, it is not little. It is strategic. It is not random. It's recorded. And when you take a step, you are not merely walking. You make a sound in the spirit that indicates your next level. I'm coming. You may experience pressure, mental weight, and emotional tiredness. That is not weakness. That is confirmation. It indicates that you are touching something genuine. Pressure always precedes release. Resistance always appears before impact. The larger the movement, the louder the noise surrounding it. But here's a secret. All the noise is outside. Internally, you have already won. Your soul understands just what to do inwardly. You have already moved. What you're doing right now is catching your body up to what your soul has already decided. You have been conditioned to overthink. However, your destiny requires you to trust too much and submit. It's insane how radical this is to those who do not grasp the path you have taken for such bold movement. It causes confusion in the systems around you. But you are not supposed to make sense to them. You were destined to do miracles via obedience. People are waiting on the other side of your courage. There are results waiting on the other side of your emotions, and fear will not be allowed to enter. It will be open to religion. Your next step is not determined by your current emotions. It is based on what you know. You have an internal fire that is unaffected by external events. It is not sustained by applause. It is not fueled by ideal circumstances. It's anchored in something deeper. You understand, you sense. You are being dragged by something you cannot ignore. And it's not just about personal success. It is about spiritual alignment. It's about being the person you promised to be when no one else believed. And it's okay if they don't grasp your following step. It's okay if people label you insane. It's okay if they separate themselves. That is not your weight to bear. Your objective is not subject to public approval. What important is that you be in accordance with heaven, that you are in sync with a divine vision, that you are following the sound of triumph that is rising within your soul like thunder. And it's becoming louder than fear, delay, and previous versions of yourself who no longer have access. You're not here to blend in. You're here to make a breakthrough. You're not here to wait your turn. You've come to claim what is already yours. You are not here to lower your energy for the sake of others. You are here to move with noble aim. When you take a step forward, the earth registers your presence. Time begins to work in your favor. When you activate, modify, or drop items that were never yours to carry, the chosen one, you've been hiding long enough. You've rehearsed long enough. You've been carrying potential for too long. It's time not because everything around you is ready, but because you're finally ready within. And it is the genuine signal. That is what heaven reacts to, not the circumstances or environment, but the transformation inside you. And you have shifted. You're not the same person you were before. You are no longer struggling for survival. You're struggling to build, fighting to create, fighting to embrace the strength that was instilled in your spirit before you breathed your first breath. And now the celestial universe is ready for your command. They aren't choosing if you're ready. They're looking to see whether you're aware of who you are. There is no audience. There is no applause. There's just you. Momentum and motion. Will you rise? Will you break the chain? Will you take that step? The gates are opening. The window is here. The favor is ready. However, the authorization is internal. And now it's up to you to give yourself the approval you've been waiting for from others. You've completed the inner work. You have healed the hidden scars. You've silenced the uncertainty that previously shouted at you. It is now time to acknowledge that process by action. Not modest or timid activity, but divine action. Unshakable activity. Next level, irrevocable public confirmation kind of action. This isn't about the outcomes. It is about resonance. You're not just moving for yourself. You're about to send a signal to the rest of the world. This is what heavenly alignment looks like. And the signal will be received. It will be observed, even if no one mentions it. Even if they don't say it, they can sense the change. They will. Because as you step, the air moves, the frequency raises, and the whole environment changes. Your next action has spiritual significance. It conveys authority. It conveys a vibration that disturbs systems, opens portals, and shifts fate. But don't wait till you feel ready. Do not wait for peace to be perfect. When power is recovered on the battlefield, there is no silence. Take a step in the tension. Move in the middle of cacophony. Act when your hands are shaking. This is how soldiers are created. That is how miracles are unleashed. This is how fate is verified. Not in quiet, but in the triumph of faith over fear. When you take this action, the environment will react. There will be a sign. There will be a transition. Something will align. Not because you pushed it, but because you moved in accordance with what was already stated. This is not a fresh narrative being created. It's the next chapter in your lifelong destiny. This is not a new identity. Your actual one is finally being worn. You've gone through the cocoon stage. You've completed the unseen labor. You have been altered in quiet. But now you're soaring. You are now climbing. You are now visible. The world no longer needs the old you. They need a version of you that isn't scared to take up space, to be seen, recognized, and felt. Remember, you don't have to explain your next step to anybody. What you owe yourself is the dignity of following your deepest instincts. What you owe to your future is movement. What you owe your destiny is activation. You are a strong person. You are in agreement. You're prepared. It's no longer about time. This is about obedience. And obedience results in overflow. So take action. Make the call. Get started. Put an end to this. Say the truth. Let go of the dread. Break the cycle. Build the dream. Whatever your next steps are, do it with fire. Do it with bravery. Do it with the full power of a spirit created in the dark for this very light. You decide what to do next. And it's more than just a shift. This is a message to dread, to doubt, to smallness, to everyone who has ever attempted to keep you back. This following chapter is different, not just in what is occurring around you, but also in what is happening inside you. You are not coming into this situation with questions. You're going in with a knowledge, a fire, and a holy memory. You have seen the cost of uncertainty. You know what it's like to be delayed. And you eventually get to the truth. The more you wait, the longer heaven takes to unleash what has already been prepared for your entrance. No more waiting rooms or spiritual sidelines. You have a place at the table now. And this isn't just any table. It is a location where plans are accepted, mantles are passed, and authority is transferred. This is the best assurance of your seat. They hadn't invited you, but they couldn't ignore you either. You got here by alignment, not approval. And that is why your next action will be unmistakable. Not because it is loud, but because it has heavenly content. You are not responding anymore. You are replying. You are not seeking validation. You're walking with vision. That is the sign of someone who has already made the internal transformation. This isn't about striving. This is about asserting that you are no longer the person you were a year or even a month before. The fire inside you has developed. The clarity is apparent. The call is irrevocable. And now you're not asking for a breakthrough. You represent the breakthrough. You aren't looking for a sign. You have become one. The next action is more than simply a show of bravery. It's a proclamation of identity. You are not going into the following level as a victim of circumstance. You are entering as a vessel of purpose, a bearer of impact, and a protector of divine answers. The next step isn't to repair anything. It's about achieving something, and the world is going to witness the collision of your choice and fate. And when that impact occurs, it will not be silent. You may not be able to perceive all of the evidence yet, but this does not imply a lack of development in the spiritual sphere. Things are already aligning. People are already talking about you. Doors are being carved in chambers you haven't yet seen. And none of this is an accident. This is what obedience opens. This is what courage enables. Your steps aren't little. They're seismic. They don't just touch the earth. They rearrange the groundwork. This is the power of a chosen one in action. You are no longer reacting to pressure. You are releasing presence. And your presence is stronger now. It transports oil. It carries fire. It conveys clarity. When you enter the room, it feels different. Because you have been rebuilt. You have been polished. And you have resolved to stop apologizing for your shine. That radiance isn't arrogance. This is proof. Proof that you survived what others did not see. That you stood up when things were supposed to take you down. That you responded to a call that demanded everything. And now, it's harvest season. Not because of effort, but because of obedience. You obeyed while it was calm. You answered yes when it was lonely. You continued moving when things didn't make sense. And heaven took notice. Your consistency records have been marked with favor.